From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, April the 7th, 2025. A drone was launched at Israel this evening. The IDF said a UAV approaching from the east was intercepted by the Israeli Air Force before crossing over into Israeli territory, and there were no injuries. From the east usually refers to Yemen, and the Houthis reportedly claimed responsibility for the attack. 10 rockets were fired from Gaza at southern Israel last night. Israel's Air Force, the IDF said, intercepted most of the rockets, but at least one made impact in the area of Ashkelon, causing damage. And Magen David Adom paramedics said it treated a male in his 30s in mild condition with injuries from shrapnel. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. Terror group Hamas claimed responsibility for the rocket barrage. Israel's Air Force took out a rocket launcher from which one of the launches was detected, saying the IDF will continue to act to remove any threat to the citizens of the State of Israel. Well, the rocket barrage, the largest from Hamas in months, occurred on the eve of the 18-month mark since the terror group carried out its horrific massacre on October the 7th of 2023. The IDF said today it's been 18 months since Hamas started this war on October the 7th. 18 months since Hamas massacred over 1,200 people in one day. 18 months since Hamas took 251 hostages, with 59 still in captivity. We will not stop until all our hostages are home and Hamas is dismantled. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met today with President Donald Trump at the White House to address, he said before departing last night, the matter of the hostages, the situation in Gaza, and also, he said, the tariff regime that has been imposed on Israel.
We spoke about not only the hostages, but about Gaza. The hostages obviously is a human story of just unbearable agony. I speak to the families. I spoke to them yesterday. I spoke to another one when I was in Hungary before I came here. I speak to them every day. They're in agony. The hostages are in agony, and we want to get them all out. Steve Witkoff, who was President Trump's very able representative, helped us get a deal that got 25 out. We're working now on another deal that we hope will succeed. And we're committed to getting all the hostages out, but also eliminating the evil tyranny of Hamas in Gaza.
Well, rallies were held in Israel this morning to mark the devastating 18-month milestone and call for the immediate release of all the hostages. Families of hostages and supporters gathered outside the homes of Israeli ministers and cabinet members across the country, and at exactly 6:29 a.m. local time, marking the time of the beginning of the Hamas massacre, read the names of all 59 hostages out loud. They also held a prayer service. And a number of hostage families visiting from Israel took part in a special rally in Central Park in New York City yesterday to mark the 18-month milestone, where hundreds came out to show their solidarity and support. And on Long Island yesterday, a special ceremony to honor and remember one of those 59, Israeli-American Omer Neutra, a lone soldier from New York who was slain by Hamas on October the 7th, his body abducted to Gaza, where it is still being held by Hamas. Captain Omer Neutra Way now stands at Manetto Hill Road in Plainview to commemorate Omer in his hometown. His parents, Orna and Ronen, and brother Daniel were joined by members of the community, friends and family, as well as members of Congress for the renaming ceremony, among them Laura Gillen, Grace Meng, and Tom Swazi, who said, "I will do everything I can to bring my constituent Omer Neutra's body and all the hostages home from Gaza." He said today's dedication of Captain Omer Neutra Way will be our sign of life and will ensure we never forget him. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, April the 7th. At 7 o'clock, Central Synagogue's world-renowned clergy and musical team are joined by a live string orchestra and expanded choir for a special concert in celebration of Sing a Little More, their new album featuring fresh arrangements of beloved Shabbat music. That's followed at 8 by Abigail Pogrebin sitting down with senior cantor of Central Synagogue, Dan Mutlu, to discuss the new album. At 8:30, Eric Goldman speaks with directors Dan Geller and Dayna Goldfine, who discuss their film about Leonard Cohen. At 9, it's Cantor Saul Zim on L'chaim. At 10, David Harris speaks with Andrew Fox. At 10:30, it's an encore of the news. And coming up next, it's Good Week, Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, April the 7th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.